This is our presentation of the topic Crisis in Social Media in the course Social and Collaborative Computing. First, we are going to summarize 3 of the 4 articles in our topic. Second, we will talk about the main points of these articles. The first of the articles we read, called How Will the Revolution Be Retweeted?, written by Starbutt and Palin, is the one you were assigned to read. The article describes how information was spread by the use of microblogging during the Arab Spring, more precisely the events in 2011 leading up to the day where Mubarak left his position as president of Egypt. The focus is in this case on the retweet function on Twitter and how this is used to interact between people on the ground in Cairo and those who are not on the ground in Cairo. During the uprising, a meme became the most popular and reused tweet with a loading bar displayed with different caption text. One example was "Uninstalling Dictator 99% complete". As a type of collective work, a lot of different modifications of the tweet were posted. Twitter content during these emergencies can be categorized as either original or derivative information, the first one being new information, whereas the second one is information passed on, as an example retweets. They also use the term slacktivism of a low-risk type of activism about people who pass on information without actually being close geographically to the uprising. Twitter was mostly used in coordination of the uprising against Mubarak, so they cut internet access in most of the country for a week. Microblogging was used to spread information about the specific locations of the uprising, communicating the general status in Cairo to the world, and requesting, as an example, medical assistance at given locations. However, in some cases, pro-Mubarak forces would show up at the location of geotagged tweets and assault the people who spread anti-Mubarak messages.
The next article is called Microblogging During 2 National Hazards Events: What Twitter May Contribute to Situational Awareness. It's about the social media Twitter and how it can be used to contribute to situational awareness. Through the article, they seek to identify and measure features that could support technology in analyzing mass emergency situations. To do this, they examine 2 events in Northern America. The first one is the flooding of Red River, which runs through parts of North Dakota and Minnesota. The other event is a grass fire that raged through Oklahoma. Both incidents are from 2009. In both events, the researchers are focusing on people broadcasting from the ground, which means tweets from the actual areas of concern. Through their data, they identify different characteristics in the tweets. They mention the high-yield Twitterer, whose main concern is to construct tweets containing as much relevant information as possible within the allocated space of 140 characters. They also mention the importance of geolocation, which can contain critical information in emergency situations. It may, for example, be beneficial to obtain information of people's location and the direction in which the grass fire is going. As a result of their study, they present an outline of features through a diagram which can be used to inform systems that enhances situational awareness. High-level features are shown in dark gray containers, while sub-features are light gray. Some high-level features may include the same sub-level features. For instance, if we look at preparation and response to warning, they both have personal and community as sub-features. Tweets broadcasted at the community level serve to convey a broad message, while tweets at the personal level may serve a more locally tactical role. To summarize, the article seeks to improve situational awareness through features identified in the diagram. The hope is to develop a framework that can be utilized in the system and thus help improve situational awareness during emergency events.
In the article Designing for the Delodge, Understanding and Supporting the Distributed Collaborative Work of Crisis Volunteers by Corbett, we take a look at the work being done by volunteers working with social media in crisis situations. To gain insight in this field, they conduct interviews with volunteers to establish commonly used tools for monitoring unfolding disasters, tools used for collaborating during the disasters, the process for collaborating in the space, and the participants' motivation for doing the volunteer work. Prior research has shown how groups of people have come together to offer assistance over social media during disasters, and that these groups of remote actors connected through social media are now becoming part of the disaster milieu. To monitor this information, volunteers use a variety of tools depending on the task at hand. This process is fast-paced and somewhat frantic. The output from one tool is often manually copied as input to another. The main concern with the tools are that they need to be free or inexpensive in order to be used by the volunteer groups. The volunteers also use different tools to collaborate and communicate amongst each other. Skype is used to discuss the relevance of Twitter posts in chat rooms, and Google Drive is used to organize tasks and collect data. Teams use different techniques for dividing the work. Some have leaders who assign tasks to individuals, and others allow for members to self-select their work. Common for all is to split up search terms so every individual monitors different Twitter feeds, or giving individuals specific geographical locations to monitor. Volunteers describe how they first became involved in digital volunteerism because of a specific event that impacted them, which then carried on to other events. A common motivator is that the belief that social media and non-local responders can have an impact during a crisis. Other motivators might be that people tie their volunteer work with their self-identity, and that personal relationships form amongst volunteers. A final motivator is that volunteers seek to gain new skills that can be used in other areas of their lives. Based on their findings, Cobedal proposed the design of a crisis monitoring dashboard. The dashboard helps volunteers by integrating their work in a common data store and share search strategies and workspace configuration.
Studying the articles, we have identified the following main points. First and foremost, microblogging has become a means of emergency communications, for example during natural disasters or political uprisings, as we have read in the presented articles. Microblogging enables sharing of information in real time through ambient media. Twitter is the primary media used due to its global widespread. Using microblogging as a means of emergency communication relies on the general public as reporters, which have pros and cons. The main pro is that there are an infinite amount of potential information collectors, also referred to as participants, who can gather information on a global scale day and night. The main con is that some of the information collected from the participants is either misinformation or information that cannot be correctly processed due to lack of timestamps, author details, or verification of the information. It is also a concern that the participants are amateurs without suitable education, as collected information from disasters can be emotionally stressful. The aim of using microblogging during emergency situations is to support situational awareness, meaning understanding the big picture during critical situations. Lastly, digital volunteerism has become an established feature of crisis events. Digital volunteers are unaffected individuals who use social media and other online tools to assist in disaster response efforts. They often take on information processing tasks like filtering and mapping crisis-related social media data, which is one of the big challenges with microblogging as mentioned earlier. There are a variety of reasons why volunteers become involved in digital response teams. However, high among the motivators is the evident belief that social media and non-local responders can have an impact during crisis.